For more than 40 years, Averett University's athletics programs have competed in the USA South. Now we begin a new era as a member of the Old Dominion Athletic Conference. We will continue to build on our traditions. We'll continue to develop our student athletes into tomorrow's leaders as catalysts for positive change. With 24 NCAA and club varsity sports, we'll bring championship aspirations, high academic success, and a focus on community service. We bring first-class facilities, and we will continue to build for the future. We'll renew old rivalries and create new ones in the ODAC. We'll do it as one team, one family, one Averett.
And ladies and gentlemen, welcome here to the Grant Center for tonight's Old Dominion Athletic Conference men's basketball matchup between the Cougars of Averett University and the Generals of Washington and Lee. I'm former Assistant Sports Information Director Davin Wilson, and I will be joining you on the ones and twos for tonight's game, bringing you all the big calls and hopefully a little bit of insight and quite a few bad, corny jokes and pop culture references. So go ahead and get buckled in. First off, I would like to thank my chart crew down here, Mr. Ethan Stevens and Zoe Winez. Would like to thank the two of them for their work tonight, giving us all the different camera angles that you are going to see here today, along with keeping my audio up and working. And overall, just putting up with my general foolishness, which should earn them their paycheck in the first place. So we're going to take a look here at the starting lineups for each team. So it's going to be number 2, Sam Wise, the senior guard out of Winchester, Virginia. It's going to be number 3, Richie Magnalot, the senior guard from Stewartsville, New Jersey. Then it's going to be number 14, the senior guard out of Rockville, Maryland, Jack Lewis. Then we're going to have number 15, a junior forward out of Pennsylvania, Jack Day Ermine. And then we've got number 33, a junior forward out of Sandy Hook, Connecticut, Robert DeCibio. The Generals are coached by Chris McHugh. He is in his 6th season, and they are assisted by Trey Livingston. And now we're going to take a look here at the starting lineup for your Averett University Cougars. First off, we've got number 12, the we've got number 5, Jordan Lewis, the junior guard out of Virginia Beach, Virginia. Then we've got number 11, sophomore guard Bryce Shaw, coming out of Virginia Beach as well. Then we've got number 12, the junior forward out of Greensboro, North Carolina, Jason Sellers. Then we've got number 33, the local hometown kid. We've got Bryson McLaughlin. And then, of course, you've got number 20, senior guard out of Charlotte, North Carolina, Raja Milton. And that is your starting 5 for the Cougars. Meanwhile, you've got David Duino here in his 9th season at Averett. He is assisted by Brandon Baker and Keyshawn Lewis. And Corey Baldwin is also serving as a student assistant. And so we are just minutes away from the start of today's game. I'm going to take a look here at how things have stacked up in the last couple of games for each of these teams. Averett is coming off a tough 57-56 road loss to Bridgewater College on Wednesday. Meanwhile, Washington and Lee lost 78-58 at number 24 Guilford College on Wednesday. The Cougars are 6-8 all-time against Washington and Lee, dating back to 1978. Averett has won the last 2 meetings in the series, but the two schools haven't faced up since the 24-15 season, when the Cougars won 69-62 in Lexington on December 10th, 2014. Averett's defense around the rim has been notable this season, with the Cougars totaling 53 blocks as a team, ranking them among the top ODAC teams as of January 7th. And Averett is going to win the tip to get first possession. Junior Sellers II ranks among the ODAC leaders in blocks category with 22 swats at 1.6 per game this season. And the Cougars also grabbed a season-high 51 rebounds as a team against Bridgewater, tying or setting their season-high in boards for the 3rd consecutive game. And, of course, we've got Jason Sellers II and Bryson McLaughlin as 2 big players for the Cougars. And first offensive attempt for the Cougars is not good. We're going to have a jump ball, and the Cougars are going to take possession of it. Looking forward to a exciting matchup here today. Washington Lee comes in at 8-6 overall, 1-4 in the ODAC. And that's going to be number 3, Richie Manigault, coming through with the first bucket of the game. Give the Generals a 2-0 lead. It's going to be Jordan Lewis. Jordan Lewis kicks it out to Jason Sellers second. Jason Sellers second, back to Bryce Shaw. Shaw gets over to McLaughlin. McLaughlin back to Shaw. Shaw thinks about three, changes his mind, gives it back to Jordan Lewis, who puts up a three, does not get it to fall. It's going to be number 14, Jack Lewis, with the rebound. He's going to get it out to Sam Wise. Sam Wise kicks it out to number 33, Robert DeCibio. So it's going to be number 14 now, Jack Lewis. Jack Lewis over to number 15, Jack Dontremont. Shot clock running down. It's number 3, Richie Manigalit with it. And it's going to be number 15, Dontremont puts up the shot as the shot clock expires. And Washington Lee is out to a 4-0 lead here. So Jason Sellers the second. And kicks it out to number 11, Bryce Shaw. Shaw cannot get his three-pointer to fall. Washington Lee comes down with the defensive board in the form of Manigault. Averett with a big turnover right there to avoid going down by 3 possessions early on. So Jordan Lewis now. Jordan Lewis feeds that one out to number 11, Bryce Shaw. Bryce Shaw, a bounce pass over to number 12, Jason Sellers the second. Jason Sellers second, a turnaround jumper, well contested, gets it to fall. And a great play there by Sellers to knock down the turnaround J. So 17.5 left in the first half. 4-2 is your score in favor of the Generals, number 33, DeCibio. And DeCibio is going to knock down the three. And it's now going to be 7-2 in favor of the Generals. So you're going to have number 22, Rajah Milton. Now with the ball, he's going to kick it out to number 5, Jordan Lewis. Jordan Lewis back out to 11, Bryce Shaw. Shaw gets it over to Jason Sellers the second. Sellers the second back to Milton. Milton over to McLaughlin. McLaughlin driving in, well contested. Does not get a shot to fall. Tries the tip in on the offensive board. That does not go. Washington Lee coming down with the big defensive board, number 15, Jack Dontremont. And it's going to be a foul called on the Cougars. We're going to have number 34, Colin Ryan, and number 12, Drew Harrell, checking in for Washington Lee. Meanwhile, number 22, Caleb Coleman, the sophomore guard out of Charlotte, North Carolina, steps in for the Cougars. So there's the inbound as it ends up in the hands of Sam Wise. Sam Wise driving down into the lane. He's going to kick it back out to number 15, Dontremont. And Dontremont, I believe, yes, Dontremont getting the bucket. 7-2 is now the score as Washington Lee with the early momentum here as it has taken advantage of some of the Cougars' shooting troubles, which have been their Achilles heel all year long. So Rajah Milton, has been its Achilles heel all year long. And that's going to be number 5, Jordan Lewis, kissing in the jumper. And it's now 8-4. Number 2, Sam Wise, keeping up the quick pace from Washington Lee. He's going to respond with the layup on the other end. 10-4. And number 20, Rajah Milton, gets it over to Sellers. Sellers gets it back over to Coleman. Coleman puts up the three. Will not fall. It's going to be number 12, Sellers, coming down with the board. Trying to see if there was a foul called here. Yes, there is a foul called. It's going to be on number 34, Colin Ryan. His first personal, first team foul. So Washington Lee right now holding the early momentum, 11-4 over Averett on the road here in tonight's concluding doubleheader, tonight's nightcap. As we saw, if you were tuning in just a second ago, you watched Averett University hand Hollins a loss in ODAC conference play. And that is Jim Lawrence driving up, will not get to the fall. And number 12, Sellers, is there. The junior forward out of Greensboro, North Carolina, went to Page High School. Of course, Greensboro only about a 30 to 45 minute drive here from Danville. Past Page every time you go into the city. You can't miss it. That ball is kicked back out to number 15, Dontremont, who drains a big three. And Chris McHugh is going to want a timeout here. We're going to take it with him with Washington Lee leading 14-6. We'll be right back on the Averett Sports Network. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back here to the East Stewart Grant Center. If you're just joining us, Washington Lee is off to a hot start. They currently lead Averett 14-6 with 15:11 left in the first half. So Averett hoping to try to start bouncing back a little bit here. Sellers gets it over to number 3, Clay Hodges. And Sellers is going to kiss in the bucket. It's now 14-8. So it's going to be Wise. Wise is going to get it over to number 12, Drew Harrell, who shoots up a 3. Does not fall. And it's going to be number 22, Caleb Coleman, the sophomore guard out of Charlotte, making a great play on the ball right there to try to bring down the rebound, but unable to corral it in. And the ball will stay with Washington and Lee, who hold a 14-8 lead right now with 14:40 here left in the first half. So number 33, Robert DeCibio with the ball. DeCibio, a bounce pass inside to number 14, Jack Lewis. Lewis gets his shot to fall, and it's now 18-8. Or 16-8, excuse me. So Sellers is second, over to Coleman. Coleman gets it over to Lawrence. Lawrence gets it over to Hodges. Hodges, a chest pass over to Coleman. And we've got a whistle on the play. And we're going to have a foul on number 12, Jason Sellers. Trying to see if that was a 1 or a 3 down there the ref was holding up. It's going to be the second one as a team, his first. It's going to be number 12, Drew Harrell. Harrell gets it over to 14, Lewis. Lewis back over to number 3, Richie Magnagallet. And there's a bucket for, and DeCibio with the hoop. 18-8, 13:43 left in the first half. Averett's going to have to find a way to start showing some of that defensive intensity it's known for and find a way to knock down a few shots. Coleman driving in. He will not get the bucket. It's going to be number 14, Jack Lewis on the rebound. Lewis trying to start off hot, slows it down a little bit, gets it over to 3, Manigault. And Manigault will hit a big 3 to make it 21-18, 13-15 left in the first half. That ball is going to get over to Jordan Lewis. Jordan Lewis with the jumper. He'll get it to fall. 21-10. And so it's going to be number 33 now, Robert DeCibio. And we're going to have a foul whistled on number 12, Sellers, the second. That is his second personal. So we're going to see number 35, Miles Paulden, come into the game. And then Zach Shoemate, the redshirt sophomore forward, out of Wilkesboro, North Carolina, transferred in. And it looks like we're going to have a timeout here on the court. Averett holding, or excuse me, Washington Lee holding a 21-10 lead with 12:58 in the half. We'll be right back here on the Averett Sports Network.
University provides all you need for your future through learning that embraces all of your infinite potential. With flexible online and on-campus programs, affordable tuition, and over 50 majors and programs. Visit allaverett.com. Are you all in?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back here one more time to the East Stewart Grant Center, where the Cougars currently trail 21-10 with 12:58 remaining in the first half. We're going to take a look at some of the leaders so far. First off, starting with Washington Lee. Of course, we've seen it a couple of times tonight already. Richie Manigault with a team-high 8 for Washington Lee. Jack D'Entremont with 7 for the Generals, and 24-10 now as DeCibio knocks down a shot. Jack Lewis with 2, Sam Wise with 2. Meanwhile, for Averett, and now Jason Sellers the second leads with 6. Jordan Lewis has 4. Averett puts up a shot that does not fall. Number 14, Lewis there with the rebound. Manigault, with being heavily contested, knocks down a huge 3 in the corner. 27-10 is the score. Manigault, man, that was a huge 3 right there. Number 5, Jordan Lewis gets it over to 3, Hodges. Hodges over to number 25, Paulden. And that is going to be Shoemate putting up a 3, does not get it to fall. Washington lead there with the rebound. Number 14, Jack Lewis. Lewis gets it out to number 33, DeCibio. DeCibio over to number 15, Jack D'Entremont, excuse me. And that's going to be number 3, Manigault. And Manigault is raining threes right now. He is singing in the rain. And 30-10 is now your score, as Washington Lee has used a torrid shooting performance here. Number 3, Clay Hodges with a long 3. Will not fall. Manigault with the rebound. So chest pass down to, let's see, that ball is kicked back out. It's kicked back out to Manigault. Manigault gets it over to number 14, Lewis. Lewis gets it over to DeCibio. Back to Manigault, and Manigault cannot miss. This kid is in the Z-O-N-E with a capital E as he knocks down his 4th three-pointer of the half. 33-10. Averett takes a timeout. We're going to take it with him here on the Averett Sports Network. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back here to the Grand Center. If you are just joining us, you have missed Richie Manigault put on an absolute clinic on how to shoot the 3 ball so far. He's a perfect 5 of 5 from 3-point range. 6 of 6 all together. Has collected 17 points in 9 minutes of play. Almost has half of Washington Lee's points right now. So head coach Dave Duino and his Cougars will definitely have to find a way to slow him down. Of course, he hit a couple of those threes on the wings with a couple of hands in his face. So we're going to see what happens here, see if the Cougars can slow him down a little bit. So Shaw gets over to Lawrence. Lawrence back to Shaw. Shaw with a spin move, kicks it out to Lawrence. Lawrence trying to show his 3 shooting ability, does not fall. And we've got a restart here. Trying to figure out what went on there. So it's going to be number 15, D'Entremont. And it's Lewis with a steal. Nice defensive play there by number 11, Bryce Shaw. And Lewis is going to draw, or excuse me, Wise is going to draw a foul there. And he will go to the line. So Manigault off to a incredibly hot start here for the Generals. Lewis, or excuse me, Wise, Puts up his first attempt. Does not fall. 33-10. 10:23 left in the first half. Number 34, Colin Ryan, coming back into the game, the freshman forward out of nearby Richmond, Virginia, the state capital of Virginia. And number 2, Wise puts it back up. And Wise is going to get the second one to fall, 34-10. Got a lot of family up in and out of the Richmond, Charlottesville area. A lot of my mom's side is from that area. My brother currently lives up there with his wife and 2 kids. In fact, I was up there not too. And that's going to be number 14, Jalen Roll, with a jumper that does not fall. Washington Lee getting back on the offensive end. Don Tremont puts up a shot that cannot fall. Number 44, Furman Borbua Watson, the junior forward, 6'7", out of Panama City. Averett cannot convert on the other end. It's going to be number 34, Ryan, with the ball. Bounce pass over to number 10, Chayek Torre, or Shek Torre. And Torre is going to draw the foul as well. And we'll go to the line looking to try to make things a 3-point play here. Shek Torre, love that name. Torre coming out of Silver Spring, Maryland. Senior guard. And standing 6'2", weighing 180 pounds. And he's going to shoot the first free throw that does not fall. Watson going up for the rebound. Speaking of Richmond, I was actually in Richmond back about 2 or 3 weeks ago to watch one of the city's local universities, VCU, take on my former alma mater, Radford University, a team that Averett actually scrimmaged at the beginning of the season this year up there. I believe it was November the 16th, I believe, was the date of the game. And of course, Averett not able to pick up a win. And Milton driving, and Milton gets fancy with it. 36-12, 9-10, and Averett needed that bucket bad as it had been held scoreless for a couple of minutes. And that's going to be number 14, Lewis, putting up a 3-ball that doesn't have a prayer. And Lewis trying to dribble on the baseline. Looked like he might have stepped out, but referees say he was in. And number 12, Drew Harrell, puts one up. And number 2, Sam Wise, getting hit with the foul right there. And it's going to be number 33, Robert DeCibio, checking back into the game. So Rajon Milton. Milton gets it over to Watson, Aurora Watson. Watson will kick it out to number 22, Caleb Coleman. Coleman over to Lawrence. Lawrence gets it over to Roll. Roll trying to drive in, puts up a running jumper, and gets it to fall, 36-14. And ladies and gentlemen, there is one thing that we know about David DeWino's teams is there is no quit in them. I've often compared DeWino to the late, great Jimmy Valvano, and there's a big steal by Coleman. And Jim Lawrence does a brilliant job right there of drawing a charge. Of course, Averett did have the rebound, so it was Averett ball no matter what, but still, as Richie Manigault will check back into the game for the Generals. Manigault already 7 3-pointers in the first half. Just 12 minutes gone. Almost a 3-pointer a minute there for Manigault. And Lawrence gets it out to Roll. Roll out to Barbara Watson. Watson gets it out to Coleman. Coleman trying to create some space with his feet and hands. Fakes a shot, pulls back, does not get the shot to go. And look at that. Coleman does a great job of stripping the ball from Manigault, but unfortunately for the Cougars, they cannot recover. And it's going to be number 33, DeCibio, driving in. And we're going to have a foul whistled on the Cougars. Number 22, Caleb Coleman. 16 foul for the Cougars. That is Coleman's first. McLaughlin checking into the game. Of course, Bryson McLaughlin, the local Dan River product, about 30 minutes away from Averett's campus. Went off to Virginia Tech for a year to play for Justin Fuentes' Hokies. He was a football standout at Dan River. Played for Farrell Evans. And there's a jumper that's swatted away by Coleman. Number 12, Drew Harrell, will get the ball back, though. Kick it over to Wise, who puts the basket in, 38-14, 7:35. But Bryson McLaughlin, of course, went to Virginia Tech. Played 1 year for former coach Justin Fuente, or was up there for 1 year. Didn't really like the vibe he was getting. Roll with the three-pointer. Does not fall. Bora Watson gets his hands on the rebound but can't haul it in. Harrell gets over to Manicault, and Manicault, a rare miss on the layup. Roll gets over to Coleman. Coleman slows things down a little bit as he was facing a 1-3 disadvantage there. So Roll with the jumper. Will not get it to fall. Manigault with the rebound. Manigault gets it over to Sam Wise. See what Sam Wise can do here. So Wise, a bounce pass into number 15, Jack Dontremont. And Dontremont will hit a field goal, 38-14 now. But McLaughlin decided to come back here, come back to his hometown, and David DeWino was able to pick him up, and that is Roll. Roll gets over to Coleman. Coleman all by himself, takes a three, will not get it to fall. It's going to be Manigault with the rebound. And I'm pretty sure if I had checked right now, Manigault probably already with the double-double. And there's a layup there right on that end. 42-14 is your score right now. So Manigault with 19 points. So he has 19. Let's check his rebounds. He has 7. And we are going to have a timeout on the court. 42-14, Washington Lee leads. 6:01 left in the first half. We'll be right back here on the Averett Sports Network. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back here to the Grant Center as we are coming out of this full timeout. Washington Lee holding a 42-14 lead. And of course, a lot of that is because of this young man they call Richie Manigault. Right now, taking a look at the stats, Washington Lee shooting 17 of 25 from the free throw line, or excuse me, from the field. Shooting 70% from three-point range. So it's going to be number 4, John Laughlin. And there's a steal by McLaughlin. McLaughlin trying to haul it in. He does. Gets it over to number 34, Wale Onome. And we're going to have a foul on the play. And it's going to send number 12, Drew Harrell, to the line. Was joking around with head coach David DeWino not too long ago. Last time I was over here doing a broadcast, and was joking around and said, you know you're getting old when you know very few of the players. Of course, come to find out, I actually still remember more of them than what I realized I did, but Nowhere like it was when I was over here. And number 12, Drew Harrell, knocking down the free throw. As a graduate assistant back 2014, head coach David Duino and I actually started over here at Averett at the same time in 2014. Of course, he's got a little bit more stressful job than I do. I just have to sit up here. And McLaughlin driving in, puts it up, does not get it to fall. Washington Lee battling for the rebound. It's going to go off on the Generals. So you're going to have number 5, Jordan Lewis, checking into the game. Manigault and Sam Wise into the game for the Generals. I just sit up here and sound like I know what I'm talking about. Meanwhile, he has to be down there and coach and develop these young men along, which he has some good young men. So not a hard problem with that. So Jameel Carter over to McLaughlin. McLaughlin gets it over to Jordan Lewis. Jordan Lewis gets it back over to Sellers second. Sellers the second gets it over to number 24, Jermaine Costin Jr. Jr. gets it back over to Lewis, who puts up a big three that does not fall. Washington Lee comes down with the rebound. Number 4, John Laughlin. John Laughlin gets it over to Wise. Wise back over to, number 15, Jack D'Entremont. D'Entremont. And well guarded by McLaughlin in the paint. D'Entremont puts it up. Does not get it to fall. McLaughlin comes down with the board. Tosses it over to Jordan Lewis. Jordan Lewis over to Jason Sellers the second. Jason Sellers second trying to drive it in. Finds something, does not. He's going to kick it back out to Carter Jr. Carter Jr. will not get it to fall. Number 24, Costin Jr. comes up with a tip on the rebound. That does not fall. Number 34, Colin Ryan. And it's going to be Manigault with a rare miss from three-point range. In fact, I think that's his first miss from beyond the arc. And McLaughlin with the running jumper does not get it to fall. Washington Lee with the rebound. Going to be number 2, Sam Wise. Wise kicks it over to number 4, John Laughlin. Does not get it to fall. Number 12, Jason Sellers comes down with the ball. Jordan Lewis with the reset. And thank goodness, because I am getting out of breath, ladies and gentlemen. It's not the easiest doing these games by yourself. Jordan Lewis gets it over to number 24, Costin Jr., who goes for the three but will not get it to fall. So that's going to be Sam Wise going up for it. He will not get the layup to fall. We're going to have number 33, DeCibio, and number 14, Jack Lewis, checking back into the game for Washington and Lee. Thank you so much for joining us here this afternoon for this ODAC matchup between these two schools, who are no strangers to each other, as they have played consistently each year since Duino's tenure. Really all around in general. And McLaughlin with a nice spin move will not get it to fall. He can't bring down the offensive rebound, tipped out of bounds. Danville and Lexington no more than a couple of hours apart. So Manigault gets it over to number 14, Jack Lewis. Jack Lewis gets it over to 13, or over to 32, Thomas Fagan, excuse me. Thank God for pronunciation, guys. That's going to be number 10, Jameel Carter. Jameel Carter over to McLaughlin. McLaughlin over to number 5, Jordan Lewis. Lewis driving into the paint, puts up a right-handed jumper, tickles the twine. 43-16, 2:22 left in the first half. And there's a big block there by McLaughlin, as it's going to be number 24, Costin Jr. picking it up over to Lewis. Lewis, a bounce pass that is tipped by number 33, DeCibio, the junior forward out of Sandy Hook, Connecticut. And we're going to have Lawrence and number 22, Caleb Coleman, come back into the game for the Cougars. Meanwhile, number 15, Jack D'Entremont, into the game for Washington Lee. So number 22, Caleb Coleman, with the ball for Averett. He's going to give it off to Jordan Lewis. Lewis hits Lawrence. Lawrence thinks about three, changes his mind, gets it back out to Jameel Carter. Jameel Carter over to Lawrence. Lawrence back to Sellers the second. Back to Jameel Carter. Time running down. Lewis puts up a three. Does not get it to fall. Manigault with the board. Manigault trying to get the ball quickly down in transition. Averett recovers though. Number 32, Thomas Fagan, gets it over to Manigault. And there's going to be a justified foul on that play as Coleman just trying to play some clean defense, but gets a little bit too much body on Manigault. Of course, you really can't blame him, as Manigault has really done some damage here so far. We're going to have number 14, Jalen Roll, checking back into the game. Number 34, Wale Onome, coming back in. And Manigault. And Wale coming out of Charlotte, North Carolina. That shot does not fall. D'Entremont. And we're going to have a charge whistled against Washington and Lee, giving the Cougars the ball back with 1:28 left in the half. Make sure you keep it locked here at the half, as a few minutes after the buzzer sounds, we'll give Drew Wilson and his staff some time to run up some stat sheets. But when they do that, we will have the Kickback Jacks halftime show. Jim Lawrence over to Roll. Roll gets over to Sellers the second. Sellers the second back to Lewis. Lewis gets over to Jameel Carter. Jameel Carter with the three. Does not fall. It's going to be Manigault with the rebound. But he falls, and going down, he will get hit for a travel call. So Manigault has been the difference maker in this first half, especially from three-point range, where he has ruled supreme. And we'll get you his stats here in just a second from three-point range. He has 19 points altogether, 5 of them coming on three-pointers. Or excuse me, 15 of them coming on three-pointers, 5 threes. He's 7 of 8 from the field. And if that wasn't enough to impress you, he also has 8 rebounds already. So it's going to be number 34, Robert DeCibio. DeCibio gets it over to 15, D'Entremont. D'Entremont will get it out to the top half of the wing there, and it's going to be number 12, Drew Harrell, finishing off a flurry of shots there with a big offensive rebound. 45-16, 20 seconds remaining. Jameel Carter Jr. with the ball now. Let's see if Carter Jr., no doubt, and the Cougars no doubt playing last shot here. Jordan Lewis facing what is close to a 30-point deficit right now. Jordan Lewis gets it out to Jameel Carter. Jameel Carter driving in as the buzzer sounds. Off the back iron, does not fall. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the half here. And Washington Lee holding a 45-16 lead. We're going to take a quick break, but we'll be right back here on the Averett Sports Network. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back here to the Grand Center and the Kickback Jacks halftime show. Washington in the lead, holding a 45-16 lead right now over Averett. And the difference in this one has been the Generals' three-point shooting ability, primarily Mr. Richie Manigault, who has knocked down 5 of 6 three-pointers, and is 7 of 9 altogether from the field, as he has a game-high 19 points right now for the Generals. Also leads with 8 rebounds. So almost a double-double by himself in the first half. Next up, you're going to have number 9, Jack D'Entremont, who has 9 points, 4 rebounds. And then from there, it is Robert DeCibio, who has 5 points. And as I said, Washington lead the difference. Three-point shooting, 50% from beyond the arc here in the first half. Make up for a dismal performance from the free throw line, where the Generals are just 2 of 6. And then also the Washington lead has turned in a impressive shooting from the floor as well, knocking down 18 of 31 shots. Good enough for 58.1%. Meanwhile, we're going to take a look at things here for the Cougars. Jason Sellers II and Jordan Lewis right now lead the way for the Cougars with 6 points apiece, while Sellers II has 3 rebounds, and Furman Barbara Watson with 2. And Averett right now has yet to knock down a shot from three-point range, shooting 8 of 35 from the field, 22%. And that has been the big difference in this one. So the Cougars will definitely hope to improve on those numbers here in the second half. And ladies and gentlemen, we are 3 minutes and 55 seconds away from the start of the second half. And on that, we are going to take a quick break here on the Averett Sports Network, but we'll be back here in just a bit to bring you the second half. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back here to the Grand Center as we are about 51 seconds from the start of today's second half. Averett looking to climb out of a 29-point hole here as the Generals rode a 50% three-point shooting performance, and Manigault's hot hand as he knocked down 5 of 6 threes to pace the Generals and make it a 45-16 game going into the break. So if you're just joining us, I'm former Averett University Assistant Sports Information Director Davin Wilson. I was over here from 2014 to about 2017 in official capacity. Got my master's degree and went on in my career, but still like coming over whenever I can, and don't mind helping out this wonderful staff over here as it is a little short due to the Christmas break. Once again, I would like to thank my truck operators, Ethan Stevens and Zoe Wins, who have done an excellent job for me over here today on the broadcast, on the switchers, giving you all these different camera angles that you see. And honestly, I would very easily say it's one of the best production staffs, one of the best production crews value in Division III. So Jason Sellers gets it over to Bryson McLaughlin. McLaughlin gets it over to Rajah Milton. Rajah Milton and Lewis is going to put up a big three there. Nothing happening. McLaughlin pulls it down, gets it over to Lewis. McLaughlin setting the screen there. So it gets it back to Sellers the second. Sellers the second over to number 11, Shaw, who gets it back over to Lewis. Lewis can't get the three ball to fall. And it's going to be number 14, Jack Lewis, with the rebound. And that ball is going to go. Looked like it went off of Wise, but it's going to get ruled Washington Lee's ball. As head coach David Duino is going to have a little bit of a squat on the scorer's table, trying to get his hydration on. Robert DeCibio gives it off to Manigault. Manigault with a long three ball. That is number 6. Number 6 on the evening. 48-16, 19:06 remaining in the game. That's just incredible numbers right there. Jordan Lewis gives it over to Milton. Milton can't get it to fall. It's going to be number 12, Sellers the second. And Sellers the second will get that one. And Averett makes it a 48-18 game. First points of the new half. Sam Wise. Wise gets it over to number 15, D'Entremont. D'Entremont over to number 24, Sam Larson. And that ball is going to go to number 33, Robert DeCibio, who makes the bucket. And it's 50-18 now, 18-28. And, of course, Washington Lee was receiving some votes in the national polls this year. ODAC, no joke of a conference. Averett in its first year. McLaughlin with the spin move after the pass from Sellers. He's going to maintain possession despite a nice defensive play there by DeCibio. It's going to be number 20 now, Rajah Milton. Gets it over to number 12, Jason Sellers. Sellers can't get it to fall. Manigault with the rebound. Manigault now with a double-double. Manigault driving in. Nice pass back to Sam Wise. Sam Wise gets it over to number 14, Jack Lewis. And Lewis's bounce pass errant. And Averett ball. According to the stats, the first half took 35 minutes to play. Hoping for another quick period just like that. So it's going to be number 5, Jordan Lewis now. Jordan Lewis gets it over to number 11, Bryce Shaw. So Shaw gets it back to number 12, Jason Sellers. Or excuse me, that's Milton. Milton over to Lewis. Lewis back over to Milton. Milton's going to put up a 3 attempt, and he gets it to fall. That is Averett's first three-pointer of the game, and it's going to prompt a timeout from David Duino. We're going to take it with him. Washington Lee leading 50-21. 17-20 left to go in the first half, or second half. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back here to the Grant Center. 50-21 is your score. 17-19 left to go in this contest. And it's going to be number 2, Sam Wise now with the ball. Wise, a bounce pass intercepted by Lewis. Lewis driving down, and he's going to get the layup in transition, coast to coast, like my favorite cartoon TV host, Space Ghost. And there is and that's going to be a block. Block whistled against number 5, Lewis. And that appeared to be a charge from up here on Wise, but different call on the court. And number 15, Jack D'Entremont on the inbound, gets it over to number 2, Sam Wise. 50-23 is your score. Sam Wise with the ball. Ball is going to get over to number 15, Jack D'Entremont. So we got a foul whistled against number 20, Milton. It's his second personal, team second. So Manigault gets it over to number 14, Lewis. Lewis gets it back out to Manigault. Manigault drives, puts it down. And this kid is verified USDA shooter. So Milton gets it over to number 12, Sellers. There's a turnaround jumper by Sellers to second. The 6'6" junior forward out of Greensboro, North Carolina, makes it 52-25. So it's going to be Manigault now. Manigault gets it over to number 14, Lewis. Lewis driving in behind the back pass. Nice. Over to number 15, Jack D'Entremont, who finishes off the bucket. 54-25 is now your score. 15-37 left to go in this contest. Number 5, Jordan Lewis, a nice chest pass over to number 12, Sellers second. Jordan Lewis puts up a 3-ball, gets it to go. That is his second 3 of the first half, or the second half. Don't know why I keep wanting to call it first half. At 54-28, we sure have with high-scoring first half, especially just 5 minutes gone here so far. So 54-28, 15-12 left in the contest. And it's going to be number 15, D'Entremont, and Manigault. Kid cannot miss. In the words of, and McLaughlin driving in, and he gets the bucket and one. As it's number 3, Manigault, getting hit with the foul. So we're going to have number 22, Coleman, number 14, Roll, checking in. Meanwhile, going to have DeCibio, Ryan, and Lewis checking in, and Laughlin checking into the game for Washington Lee. And McLaughlin goes to the line for a pair of shots, or a one-on-one. Or just one attempt. I forgot they had the bucket there. So Jordan Lewis trying to drive in. Changes his mind, cuts back. Lewis gets it back to Roll. Roll puts up the long ball, gets it to fall. 57-33 is now the score. And Averett is not giving up. And wow, some physical play down there by Ryan and Coleman, as Averett is trying to put a bit of a press on right now. McLaughlin over to DeCibio. DeCibio back over to number 15, D'Entremont. D'Entremont trying to make something happen. Well guarded. Some quick passing there, though, by Washington Lee. So he gets it over to number 12, Harrell. Ball is stripped away by Lewis as the shot clock goes. And we are going to have a foul whistled on the play. So Lawrence coming back into the game for McLaughlin. And it was actually not a foul. I missed the stoppage there, so I'm not exactly sure what went down there. I know the shot clock did sound. So Lawrence, roll. Gets it back over to Sellers the second. Sellers the second over to Coleman. And ball is, and again, looked like it had been tipped away by Washington Lee, but we're going to say the ball went with the Generals. And so number 34, Ryan. Well guarded, and Coleman coming down with a big turnover. Coleman on the other end. And 57-35. And we're going to have a foul there as Coleman got a little bit too excited on that inbound. So ladies and gentlemen, we got a 22-point game here with 13:33 left to play. Plenty of time for Averett to come back in this one. Especially, it seems like the momentum is favoring the Cougars a bit. As we take a timeout, we're going to see what variety it is before we decide to stay with you. It's going to be full. So we're going to go ahead and take the full timeout with them here on the Averett Sports Network. 57-35, Washington lead.
University provides all you need for your future through learning that embraces all of your infinite potential. With flexible online and on-campus programs, affordable tuition, and over 50 majors and programs. Visit allaverett.com. Are you all in?
And ladies and gentlemen, we are back here at the East Shore Grant Center, where currently Washington Lee holds a 57-35 lead. There's the inbound. It'll be number 33, DeCibio. DeCibio driving in, puts it up, gets it to fall. 59-35 is now the score. Rajon Milton. Milton gets over to Sellers the second. Sellers second over to Roll. Roll over to Lawrence. Lawrence gets it back over to Coleman. Coleman drops it over to Sellers. Sellers back over to Roll. Roll into McLaughlin. That was number 22, Caleb Coleman. I apologize on that. And number 33, Robert DeCibio driving in. DeCibio puts up the shot, kisses it off the glass. 61-35, 12:38 left. Washington Lee has come out of that Averett timeout and scored 4 straight points. So Coleman gets it over to Lawrence. Lawrence back to Coleman. Coleman gets it over to Lewis. Lewis pulls up for the three. Does not fall, but Coleman does a great job of going up there and getting that rebound. Puts up the shot and draws the foul. So Coleman running the Kmart 3-for-1 special right there. And he will go to the line. First shot up and in, 61-36. McLaughlin and Mannequin coming back into the game or Manigault. I don't know why I said Mannequin. Manigault back into the game for Washington Lee. Not as easy as it looks all the time, folks. Coleman's second shot does not fall. Lawrence battling for the rebound. And it's going to be number 14, Lewis, as Lawrence is going to get called for the foul. So we're going to have number 20, Rajah Milton, checking back into the game for number 22, Coleman. Pass inside to DeCibio. DeCibio does not get it to fall. Lawrence grabs the board, but a foul whistled against Lawrence on the rebound. It's a push. Excuse me, that was Bryson McLaughlin with the foul. And DeCibio will go to the line for a pair of shots. DeCibio's first shot falls in, and we're going to have number 15, D'Entremont, and number 10, Sheck Toure coming into the game. So DeCibio at the line for the second shot. And let's see what happens here. Second shot falls. 63-36. So Lawrence gets it over to Lewis. Lewis back to McLaughlin. McLaughlin driving in. Unlucky there. Will not fall. DeCibio with the rebound. So it's going to be number 2, Wise. Wise gets it over to DeCibio. DeCibio driving in. And that is going to be a nice steal there by number 20, Rajah Milton. Milton trying to do it all himself back in transition. Let's see if he can. Jumps it off to Jalen Royal. Rolled back in, and a great pass by Milton to McLaughlin, who finishes off the bucket. And oh my Atlanta. 63-38, 11:05. And that is going to be Manigault putting up a 3. Does not get it to fall. Milton over to Roll. Roll driving in. Roll, a nice kick out over to Lawrence. Lawrence driving in and puts up a floater. Will not go down. Manigault with the rebound. He's going to get it over to number 33, DeCibio. And Washington Lee's going to take a timeout. We're going to take it with them. 63-38 Generals. 10:42 left in the game.
Inclusive, encompassing, inspiring. Averett University provides all you need for a future you deserve through learning that embraces all of your infinite potential with flexible online and on-campus programs like our newest programs in entrepreneurship and psychology, with more coming soon. With affordable tuition and 24/7 support, it all leads to you becoming a catalyst for positive change. Visit allaverett.com. Averett University. Are you all in?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back here to the Grant Center. 63-38 is the score. 10:42 left to go in the contest. Difference, of course, has been Washington Lee's three-point shooting ability, and you're going to see number 15, Jack D'Entremont, a little frustrated with himself there as he was trying to find Manigault, and Pat just got a little bit ahead of himself. Got a little bit ahead of itself there. So Averett just letting the ball roll right now, trying to keep the clock from moving. So Roll driving in, and he's going to pick himself up a trip to the foul line. So Roll, the 5'11" senior guard out of Norfolk, Virginia, Norview. Of course, if you are familiar with Virginia high school sports, you know Norview, as it is a perennial contender for state titles. Does not matter the sport. Roll's first shot, up and in. Of course, Virginia Beach also being the home of Allen Iverson. Rolls second shot, in and out. McLaughlin, a well-contested rebound, puts it up, can't get it to fall. And it's going to be Bryce Shaw making a great play there to try to force the ball out on Washington Lee. Does not work, but great hustle there. And it's going to be number 2, Wise. Wise gives it over to number 15, D'Entremont. D'Entremont over to Manigault. Manigault gets it over to number 10, Toure. Shek Toure, out of senior guard out of Silver Spring, Maryland. And I've said it once already today, number 33, Robert DeCibio, coming into the game. I've said it already once today, but Shek Toure, I'll get it right eventually. Shek Toure, one of my favorite names that I've heard in quite a long time. You think I'd be able to get it right, but just whatever reason, not able to get it all the way out correctly. 10:04. Washington Lee led 45-16 at the start of the half. So Washington Lee has outscored Averett 28-23 here in the second half thus far. So number 33, DeCibio, a three-point attempt does not fall. Lewis comes down with the board, gives it back out to DeCibio. DeCibio does a great job there with the handiwork. And it's going to be number 12, Drew Harrell, putting up a three attempt. Does not fall, goes out of bounds on Ben Jones. 24-point contest. I remember my number 14, Jack Lewis, checking into the game for the Generals. I remember my first year over here at Averett. Averett went into it. This was when Averett was a member of the USA South, and when it entered the final 4 minutes of a contest against, I believe it was William Peace, facing a double-digit deficit, and that is going to be Sellers' second into Lewis. Lewis gets over to Roll. Roll puts up a three that drains. 63-45. Roll saving money on the light bill right there, draining that three-pointer on the light and water bill, I should say. Number 33, DeCibio. I told you at the beginning of the game, folks, there's going to be a lot of corny references. And McLaughlin with a nice steal. He's going to find Roll with the bounce pass, but Colin Ryan does a great job of staying with that one. Come up with a big defensive play. Gets it over to number 12, Harrell, who finds DeCibio. And DeCibio is going to be hit with a walk. 8:54 left in the game. It's going to be number 15, D'Entremont, coming back into the game. Washington Lee with not one player under 5 feet tall. The shortest players are John Laughlin and Thomas Fagan. And Bryce Shaw with the jumper. And Washington Lee's going to throw the ball out. You can see DeCibio or Ryan there. He's saying, hey, he touched it. And referees see a little bit differently here. We got a 19-point game, but as I was saying, I believe it was actually about 18 points. Averett was trailing either William Peace or Greensboro. Ends up coming back. Averett does. Gets it within 3. And Roll puts it up. And there's another big bucket. And it's now a 17-point game. So, ladies and gentlemen, basketball is a game that can change on its head extremely quickly. And that is going to be a charge. And, man, You got to give Jason Sellers some credit right there. Realized he was in a perfect opportunity to get a big charge, sacrifices his body. And man, that was a great play, very headsy play by that young man. And we got to give him some credit on that one. Like I said, Averett still lost that game against Greensboro William Peace, but number 22, Caleb Coleman, checking in. But the point is that they ended up staging a tremendous comeback with maybe half the time that they have right now. And so we're going to see how exactly things work out here. And we're going to get a stoppage for a drying of the court. A basketball tradition, of course. We have to give Brent Taylor a huge shout out here. She's no longer on the athletic side of campus, but she still is with the university through its student services over there. So Shaw kicks it out to, and look at that, and just like that, Jason Sellers. And ladies and gentlemen, we got a 15-point game. As I said earlier, Averett is just predicated on just never dying, never quitting, just playing ferocious ball, a lot of heart. And the Cougars are showing that here tonight. I wrote an article back about 3 years ago, maybe a little bit longer than that, where I was comparing David DeWino to the late Jimmy Valvano of NC State. And of course, they are both from New York. They both have Italian heritage, but mostly because of the emotion and that they show and the care they have for their players. Number 2, Wise. It's now going to be in the hands of number 15, D'Entremont. And D'Entremont's going to slow Averett down a little bit with a bucket. 65-48. 7:33 left. Washington Lee takes time out. Full one. We're going to take it with him here on the Averett Sports Network.
University provides all you need for your future through learning that embraces all of your infinite potential. With flexible online and on-campus programs, affordable tuition, and over 50 majors and programs. Visit allaverett.com. Are you all in?
Here we go, starting things up. Ethan Stevens giving me the thumbs up there as I began talking and did not have my volume turned up. Of course, and Roll puts up a long three and does not find any luck, but a big steal there coming through on the defensive end. Jordan Lewis driving in, gets it to fall, and 15 points now separates us. And it's going to be number 2, Wise. Wise is going to get it over to number 14, Lewis. Number 15 now, D'Entremont with the ball. D'Entremont trying to drive in, puts it up, does not fall. Averett comes down with the rebound. Lewis. So Lewis gets over to Bryson McLaughlin. McLaughlin over to Shaw. Shaw puts up a long three, and he gets it to fall. 12 points is your score. Washington and Lee calls another timeout. And ladies and gentlemen, Shaw just drains that one. He calls a 30-second timeout that's going to turn into the media and a full timeout. So we're going to take it with him. But ladies and gentlemen, Bryce Shaw drains a humongous three-pointer. 65-53, Washington Lee. 6:23 left in this contest. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back here to the Grant Center. As Bryce Shaw has knocked down a huge three-pointer that pulls the Cougars within 12. Missed shot deflected by Averett. It's going to go out for a Washington Lee ball. 6-11 here. And Averett has looked like a different team in the second half, especially over the last 4 or 5 minutes or so. As the Cougars have taken what was once a 20-plus point deficit and trimmed it down to 12 with 6:11 left. So there's the inbound. It's going to be DeCibio. And it's going to be number 3, Manigault, stepping out of bounds. And Averett's got the ball and a chance to get within single digits. A mark that the Cougars did not think was within reach a few minutes ago. So Lewis with the jumper and does not find it. And Washington Lee will get the ball back here. 5:53 remaining. There's the inbound pass over to Manigault. Manigault gets it over to number 33, DeCibio. DeCibio driving in. Will not get it fall, but there is going to be a foul whistled on the play. I believe it was McLaughlin. It is. That is McLaughlin's third. 17 foul. .542, 65-53 is the score. Washington Lee seemed to be in complete control of this one a few minutes ago, or at the beginning of the half, as they held a 45-16 lead, but Averett has outscored them 27-20 so far here. Shot does not fall. Washington Lee with the rebound. Excuse me, 33-20 is what Averett has outscored Washington Lee in the second half. So Wise with the long three ball will not go down. DeCibio, excuse me, battling out for the rebound. And we're going to have a foul whistled on Shaw. And that is not going to make, it does not make Coach DeWina very happy at all there. And DeCibio, that's Shaw's fourth personal. So 5:22 left. DeCibio going to the line. First shot falls, so he will earn another. 66-53. The Cougars have put together this, and second shot, that falls as well. 67-53 is now the score. And Jordan Lewis gets over to Roll back over to Lewis. Lewis over to Roll puts up the jumper, does not fall. McLaughlin almost there with the tip in, and that ball is bouncing around more than a 6-year-old gone off of Mountain Dew. It will go to Washington and Lee. 4:50 remaining here in this action-packed doubleheader here and there's a jumper, and that is going to be number 12, Drew Harrell, with the basket. 69-53. So Washington Lee with 4 straight points to push its advantage back to 16 after seeing the lead dwindle to 12. So McLaughlin inside after a pass from Sellers. Sellers gets it out to Lewis. Lewis knocks down a triple. He says, "Can I have a triple quarter pounder, please?" And I know that absolutely makes no sense, but we're going to roll with it. 69-56 after that one. 4:20 left to go in this contest. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back here to the Grand Center as we enter the final 4 minutes of this contest. Washington Lee leading 69-56. Averett trying to pull off what would be one of the biggest comebacks in program history. But number 12, Drew Harrell, the 6'2 junior guard out of Collingswood, New Jersey, is going to have a little something to say about that as he knocks down a three from the left side, 72-56. So Roll with the three of his own, and he gets it. 72-59, so now 13-point game. Averett entered the half without a single three. Without a single three-pointer to its name. The Cougars have now knocked down 7 in the second half. And that is really paced. And McLaughlin with the strip that's going to end up in Coleman's hands. Coleman, the long pass down to Roll. A huge block there by number 12, Drew Harrell. Shot up, nothing falling. Number 15, D'Entremont with the rebound. And Coleman almost coming up with another big defensive play there. So Washington leads going to kind of try to milk the clock as much as it can. And Roll coming through with a big breakaway. Let's see if he can finish. He does not, but he's going to draw the foul. Foul is on number 14, Jack Lewis, the senior guard out of Rockville, Maryland. One of my favorite bands in the world, OAR, is from Rockville, Maryland. I love the area up there. I love the beach. Roll's first shot goes in, 72-60. Was thinking about going up there for a music festival this summer. Roll's second shot does not fall. And McLaughlin is going to knock the ball out. But Mother Nature had different plans as weather canceled the festival. 2:51, it's a 12-point contest. And wow, he stepped on the line right there. Number 12, Harold, clearly from up here, stepped on the line. And DeCibio drives up, and it's going to be a foul. So McLaughlin with the foul. That is number 4, I believe, for McLaughlin. This is McLaughlin's 4th, 19th foul. DeCibio at the line for 2 shots. First one goes in. 73-60 is the score. DeCibio's second shot in. 14-point game now. And Jordan Lewis. And Lewis gets over to McLaughlin. McLaughlin tries to get over the top. And it's going to be number 12, Harrell, with the steal. Number 15, D'Entremont. Double team. He's going to get it out to DeCibio. DeCibio driving in. Ball's quickly passed around. Harrell now with it. Harrell with the jump shot. And that is a 16-point game now. And that might be the difference maker right there. Jordan Lewis driving in. Shot is, smacked away by Harrell. Picked up by Wise. Harrell now with the ball on the other end. He's going to get it over to DeCibio. DeCibio, that ball is smacked away by Lewis. And we are going to have a foul. So Averett has done a terrific job of coming back in the second half, but I think it's going to end up rally attempt is going to come up just a bit short. Lawrence looks like he is about ready to check into the game. First shot is up and in. 77-60, Lawrence checks in for the Cougars, replacing number 12, Sellers the second. Second shot goes in 2. And it is now a 18-point contest. So still, and Coleman's going to knock down a big jumper. 68 or 78-62 now. And Coleman's going to get whistled for the foul. Not happy with that call are the Cougars faithful. So we're going to take a look here at some of the leaders. Manigault, 27 points so far on the evening. DeCibio with 19. D'Entremont with 13. Drew Harrell with 10. Manigault also leads the way in rebounds with 10. Drew Harrell with 6. Jack Lewis 6. And D'Entremont with 6. Now we're going to take a look here at some of the leaders for the Cougars. Right now you got Jason Sellers, the second. Leads the way with 6 points. Second DeCibio attempt falls, and it's now an 18-point game. Bryson McLaughlin, we're looking at rebounds now. Let me switch over to points. Jordan Lewis, the leader in points with 16. Jalen Roll with 15. Sellers with 12. Bryce Shaw with 5. Rebound-wise, Sellers with 6, McLaughlin with 3, Milton with 2, Jalen Roll with 2 as well. And ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be the tail of this game. Washington lead 47.6% from three-point range. Knocked down 10 of 21 attempts, 60.4% from the field. And we're going to take a timeout here with 1:11 on the clock. We're going to go ahead and stay with you here since we are so close to the end of this contest. Also right now, Washington lead with 42 rebounds compared to Averett's 22. And another big stat here, the Generals have been to the line 18 times where they've knocked down 12 of their shots. Averett has only been to the line 7 times where it's knocked down 42% of its shots. But as I mentioned earlier, right now, Averett has outscored Washington lead 46-35 here in the second half. They are 18 of 34 from the field compared to Washington lead's 11 for 17. They are shooting 52.9% in the half compared to the Generals is 64%. And Averett is 58.3% from three-point range in the second half, while Washington Lee is 3 of 7 for 42.9. And it looked like for the longest time that Averett really just on the brink of really a big run to really get itself back in this game, but just could not get the stop on the other end. And I think the Cougars really just fell into a early hole and just really was one that they were going to have an extremely hard time getting out of. But still, and there is going to be number 24, Sam Larson, driving in for the bucket. So it's not a 20-point game. It's the first time the Generals' lead has been that big. Lewis is going to put up a 3, and he gets it. And Lewis has been one of the main guys for the Cougars in this second half, as that is his third or fourth 3. So 42 seconds, and ooh, a little chippiness down there on the court, battling for the ball. No foul called on either side. Either side could have been whistled there. But I think at this point in the game, you're really just trying to get this one over with. Number 21, Ford Scott, driving in, will get the bucket. And it is now a 19-point game. So Lawrence with a 3, will not find it. It's going to be number 24, Larson, with the rebound. It's going to go off on Averett, the referees will say. Make sure you keep it locked here to the Averett Sports Network after this one, as we will give you a quick rundown on the Daily 7 post-game show. And that is going to do it here from the Grant Center. Washington Lee, an 84-65 winner over the Cougars. And as we're going to take a look here, we got Richie Manigat, 27 points, game high. Go with 10 rebounds for the double-double. Robert DeCibio, 21 points. Jack Dontremont with 13. Drew Harrell with 10. Meanwhile, for AU, Jordan Lewis leads the way with 19 points. Jalen Roll with 15. Sellers with 12. Shaw chips in with 5. Rebounding leaders were Sellers the second with 6. McLaughlin with 3. Rajon Milton with 2. And Jalen Roll with 2 as well. And ladies and gentlemen, I just want to give a tremendous shout out here to my truck operators for both games today. For the first one, it was Ethan Stevens and Luke Martin. And for the second one, it was Ethan Stevens and Zoe Wins. Would like to thank them very much for a tremendous job done. And bringing you all these camera angles and all the good stuff that you saw here today on the court would not have been possible without the two of them. So once again, we'd like to give them a shout out. So once again, we're going to leave you with the final score. That was just taken off the scoreboard. I've already forgotten it. So anyway, we've ended things here. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in to Averett Sports Network for today's doubleheader. Hope we'll catch you next time here on the Averett Sports Network.